It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola.
Yeah, I run this town now. What's up? Oh, wow. So, what's up, Hit the Bidders? What's up, Stock Twits? What's up, YouTube? Power gap. You guys familiar with the phrase now? I've been saying it since, well, I've known about it for 30 years, but maybe now you guys know about it. Power gaps. When the market comes out of a downtrend and everybody's debating whether or not it's a bear market bounce or a bullshit move, or there's another leg down or another shoe to drop or whatever bullshit they start throwing at the market since the Trump candle on April 9th. What generally happens is we never go down anymore, right? The market crashed on August 5th of last year, and then we had 2 mini crashes over the tariffs. Now that that's all factored into the market, we're not going to go down anymore. That was already established when the Qs broke over 441. But then we started to rally and we started making back over. I'll show you my charts in a second, but I'm so familiar with what I'm talking about, I don't need to look at a chart, but I'll show you anyway. And right now, what you're witnessing is almost comical, and I'll explain why. Well, we're all friends here. It's a fucking joke, right? The market's broken. It only goes up, right? It corrects and crashes, and then it's set to only go up. Whatever the reason is, right? Taper tantrum, remember those days? Tariff tantrum, interest rates, stagflation, whatever inflation they want to throw at the market. Any chart you look at from 1920 to today is basically a straight line up. And you have these little farts in the wind, which in the moment feels catastrophic, or as my favorite word, unprecedented. It's always unprecedented. Black swan. This time is different, right? So while everybody's having those debates and the market starts ripping higher, the shorts, me being the ex-president of the United States Shorting Foundation Incorporated.com, I'm also the former president. I am no longer. I'm just the traveling secretary of the Bear Foundation now. But what I've learned over 30 years is shorting doesn't work. Even when the market crashes, what does it do? It crashes, okay, and then what? It goes back up. So anytime you try to hold a short, right, even like Carvana, imagine being short Carvana from like $150 a share, and you didn't want to give up that last 7 or 8 points. And now the stock's rallied from $7 to $360 in your fotch. One thing to remember, shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. All right, so let's go back to this power gap conversation. So now we crashed in August, we came back, and then we crashed again in April. But, well, we were rolling over from February. The market was due to correct anyway. It was in the middle of the correction. The tariff stuff crashed, helped the correction become the crash. Then what? Then you started hearing all the bullshit, right? After the 12% candle on April 9th, where it caught all the shorts on the wrong side, the geniuses, or let's call them the analysts, right? All the people that are the smart ones, and we mock them. They're smarter than I am, but I can mock because I know about the market more than they do. The MBAs, the people that write stories about the market, fundamental analysis, macroeconomics, things based in what they believe still works. This isn't 1950. That market doesn't exist anymore. Just like selling in May and going away. How'd that work out? You just missed the biggest May, the best May we've ever had in 35 years. And if you know anything about investing, basically the market has 20 amazing days all year. If you miss those 20 days, you miss the whole year. So you just missed the entire month of that. Selling in May and going away doesn't exist anymore. I'm not going to say it's a new market, but this is the market that we live in now, pretty much since 1987 when they started implementing algorithms, the flash crashes, which were algorithmic interventions that went haywire, and everything they've thrown at the market contagions. That was an unprecedented event. Even something like Russia going into Crimea or whatever the name of the country is, who cares? That was big news for like a week. There was a coup in Turkey, SARS, N1N1, Ebola, a real pandemic, the end of capitalism. Remember that? That was a good time. Remember the end of capitalism? Anybody remember? 2008, 2009. Go watch The Big Short. I watched it again for the 30th time. Maybe not, sorry, the 300th time. The movie pisses me off to no end. But all this stuff that I've learned for 30 years, the one thing that I've definitely now I've had to accept into my life, the market never goes down. Never. Crashes and corrects, and then normally it just on a upward trajectory until the next correction becomes a crash, and that's it. So generally the market, and if you're a long-term investor like my dad, in theory, the market's never gone down, ever. It's just going up, dips, he buys, goes up, dips, he buys, goes up. So in theory, if you woke up out of a coma and you looked at that chart, you'd been like, oh, we've been going straight up. But when you're in that moment, it gets kind of scary, and that's how the market transfers wealth. As Warren Buffett said, the market is a great vehicle from taking money from the impatient and giving it to the patient. Now, as a day trader, we just use that in a smaller time frame, right? So patience, impatience, and then meets VWAP. Now let's get back to the original part of the story, the power gap. So this whole conversation was to give you an idea, the background of why the market cannot stay down. Bear markets are soon going to be stricken from our vernacular. Every time the market goes down, it now comes back and breaks new highs in a shorter period of time, to the point where we may never even actually have down years anymore. It might be 20% is going to be the new down. And as the market starts tacking on 25, 50%, 100%, why not go to Dow 1 million? Because the money's coming in from every angle. And one of my favorite commentaries was, people were taking money out of U.S. investments. Yeah, sure they were. That was just a narrative. They made you believe it, and you got scared. It was all bullshit. It's always all bullshit. Any thesis of why the market's going to, I'm not going to say go down. It goes down once in a while, but anytime they start glomming on or creating, there was a recession coming, stagflation, inflation, there's all kinds of inflations. You understand? So while that conversation's going on, the market power gapped right in your fucking face, ensuring the fact that now you can't leave. Now we can't go down. Because all that debate, all your fundamental guys who went to Villanova and got their degrees on the wall, who think they know what they're talking about, yeah, keep downgrading Tesla. Let's see how that works out for those analysts. Right? Keep downgrading Carvana at $12 a share. How'd that work out for them? They know nothing more than any of us. As a matter of fact, traders know more than anybody, because we're sitting here and we see the price action. The price action is the only truth, and the only truth to follow price action is volume weighted average price. So let's get back to this. Let me show you this power gap. So while everybody's bullshitting and writing theses or thesi or theses or papers or research reports or whatever they're going to send to their clients about how nervous they should be, they're already, most of them tore it up and like, oh, well, I guess that ain't happening. Oh, the inflation, oh, stagflation, oh, Trump's ruining the economy, oh, well, I guess not. Right, so while everybody was debating whether or not this was a buying opportunity or the beginning of a catastrophic 12-year bear market, that'll never happen. All that debate comes to an end when you start gapping above resistance. That's what a power gap is. So here's the catastrophe candle, and then here's that monster candle. This monster candle was what we call the bullish engulfing candle. That ended the whole thing. This candle ended any idea of there being a bear market. It ended the recession talk. It ended everything. We knew that. The media still wasn't done writing their stories for barons and you know, and CNBC and analysts that want to be bearish, like you get it. So when you have a huge bullish engulfing candle, and then you spend some time inside that candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 days later, we came out of the bullish engulfing candle. And know what that is? Super bullish. So right there, we realized, all right, there is zero reason to be shorting anymore. You just want to start buying the cues with reckless abandon. It's time to get irrationally exuberant. It's time to get psychotically bullish. And then we gapped. So what was going to be resistance, we gapped above it. That was the mini power gap. And then they tried to sell it off into the gap, and they couldn't even, they closed the gap. And then we had the Thursday and Friday where it looked like, oh, wait a minute, maybe that sell-off was something. And then we power gapped. Power gap, people. So the power gap right here, right? Let me just stretch it out for you. The reason it's a power gap was that we were going to come into some real resistance right in this zone. And we gapped above the whole thing. So any moronic short, and I speak affectionately because I am one of them usually, any moronic short who hasn't covered yet, you're done. It's over, Johnny. You've lost. And now you're just begging. Please, please close the gap. Please give me a pullback. No. No, power gaps don't pull back. Power gaps F everybody. Because now the shorts are on the wrong side. They're scrambling. And now every pullback that happens, they're not thinking about adding to shorts anymore. They've been power gapped. All they're thinking about is, oh, God, we've been power gapped. I should have covered here and here on the 2 mini gaps. Oh, my God, oh, power gap. All they're doing now is every pullback is a buy. By the way, we're still in this stock called KNW, and it's still going higher. I can't believe it myself. KNW, be careful. This is an illiquid piece of garbage stock that was on fire yesterday. The only reason we're in this one is because its little brother or big brother, KWM, was moving. And I'll get to the dyslexic nature of the market in a second. But the power gap traps the shorts. So now every pullback, they're just begging. They're just dying to buy. So now they have to buy because they want to cover their shorts. All the lazy nudniks who thought, oh, this is going to be an unprecedented bear market that could last for years. The orange man broke the world. Nobody's going to break the market, not even this guy. It was just a blatant manipulation. You saw how they were high-fiving each other on April 9th? They knew what they were doing. It was all one big scam. One big scam. One big transfer of wealth. Right? So then now we got the power gap. So the power gap that happened on May 11th, which is now 1 month ago, how you doing? Right? Right? 1 month ago. And what have we done? We're just consolidating above the power gap. They tried to get in there. Oh, so cute. Remember that day? As if. Rally. Oh, look at them trying to sell the market off again that day. No. Power gaps don't get sold off. Power gaps consolidate, go higher, and rip everybody's head off. Right? We have just entered just space. Right? You guys watch Armageddon? I've seen that movie good 20,000, 30,000 times. This is just space. We haven't even got to outer space yet. Because the shorts are still hanging on. They're like, oh man, come on, please. Don't break all-time highs. The longs who love buying all-time highs, they're still out there waiting to buy. So explain to this guy right here, Mr. Analyst with your MBA, what do we got to be nervous about? Right? Go to marketwatch.com. I bet you the first 2 articles are something about to be nervous about. Why this rally doesn't have legs. Blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. When you stop seeing that, that's when you get nervous. When there's a 100% bullish sentiment on the street, that's when you start thinking, oh, you know what? By the way, that was February, I believe, the Cathie Wood top. When everybody said this woman, Cathie Wood, was something special coming out of the COVID because she was buying all COVID stocks that were up 400% and they all went to zero. That was a really nice blow off top you had there, right? Until we have a moment, right, where we actually have 100% bullish sentiment. The market gaps up, like for instance, I'm going to show it to you today. When the market gaps up, everyone's feeling bullish, no, blah, blah, we're never going down, blah, 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 and then we go down. And volatility products start to go up. And you're like, wait, what's this all about? When you have a what's this all about moment, that's when you start to become bearish. Not this. This is just bullish consolidation, we go higher. Bullish consolidation, we go higher. Bullish consolidation, we go higher. So this morning, or about an hour ago, they just threw that at us. What the hell was that? Right? Does anybody know what that was? Raise your hand if you know, because I wasn't paying attention. I don't have the TV on while I trade. I don't care what people are saying. I don't care. I trade price action. Right? Right? So this move to the downside, right? Faux, show, bro. Another faux, show, bro. So the more they try to get the market to sell off, the higher it goes. So this was a real cute attempt. Look at that. Look how cute that was, right? And what happened? We resolved ourselves to new highs for the day. This move alone could now ensure us for the next 3 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, 8 years. Every time this market pulls back, you got to say to yourself, we have just seen new generational lows on the Qs that you may never see ever again. Now, I know it's a little tongue-in-cheek because we are nearing these tops. But right now, this sell-off today might be new generational lows. Because this market, if you don't know how it works, there's a constant flow of money coming in. The money manager, either they put it to work soon or they keep it on the sideline. But the money's always coming in. And inevitably, it's got to get put to work. Then you got the shorters who have to cover, the Johnny-come-latelys who want to get long, and then real money comes in. And next thing you know, we're at all-time highs. If anybody here, anybody except for Tom Lee, because Tom Lee's always assuming we're going all-time highs, anybody but Tom Lee on Earth on April 7th, before the monster 11% candle, if anybody thought we were going all-time highs this year, you're lying. So where are we now? Right now, we're just consolidating. And look what they just threw at the market. Look how cute that is. Ain't that cute? Little V bottom right there, little faux show, bro. The stock this is the trade I'm always talking about. So if you can understand this trade, it happens on a daily basis, a monthly, a weekly. It happens on every time frame. That's why the trade works all the time. And if you're just going to use it as a day trader, right, and you get a faux show, and then you break VWAP 90% of the time, and this is back tested now since 07, if anybody wants to see the data, back testing. If you get a faux show on the Qs and you break VWAP, since 2007, the trade's worked close to 85% of the time. On earnings reports, it works 100% of the time. Yeah, I got a trade that works 100% of the time. What? Yeah, but it has to be very specific. It has to be a stock that reported earnings, has to be down, and has to break new lows, then come back, then break prior VWAP, today's VWAP and prior day VWAP. And if that setup happens, which we do find plenty of times, since I think we got what's our count up to now? About 780 of them over the last 3 years, which is a lot of trades. I mean, if you think about it, some people put 40 trades on a day, so 700 trades over 300 years. It's a very specific trade, as I described, and we have an algorithm that goes and finds it for us. It's awesome. Faux show, bro, fake out, shakeout, breakout. But on the Qs, we did the back test because it's harder to back test on earnings reports because each earnings report, the stock acts differently. The Qs, it's very specific. So we back tested to 07. I want to know how the Qs reacted if there was a breakdown, new low, comeback, break the VWAP. And these statistics were basically, roughly above 80% of the time. You get a follow-through move for a profitable trade on a faux show bro VWAP break on the QQQ. And right here, there it is, my friends. Lovely. And why is it so awesome now more than ever before in the history of the world? Good question. The reason it's awesome now is that the Qs used to have monthly options in 2.5 point increments. Then finally they made, first they had quarterlies only. Then they had monthlies. I've been trading options since basically 1994 when nobody traded options. They were illiquid. They were awful. The Qs, finally they had, remember when they made monthlies. And then they made weeklies, which was awesome. But you still had big increments, 2.5 point increments. Then they became dollar increments. And now, for you gambling degenerate psychopaths, we've got daily expiration options on the Qs. And it's the greatest thing ever. Sorry, I'm having an emotional moment now. So fucking great. Because now you get to trade this vehicle that never goes down. Once in a while it goes down. Knowing that the faux show bro happens and this trade works 80% of the time. And now, instead of having to lay out, again, this is where my father lost me, where I lost my dad's interest in day trading. Because, I have a substantial enough account with some margin. If I really wanted to, I could buy 1,000 shares of the Qs, whatever. It's $500,000. And my dad would be like, so you just bought $531,000 of a stock to make $800? What's wrong with you? I was like, but that's kind of the essence of day trading. You're getting into the stock. It's just relative to the price. He's like, it doesn't make any sense. You're laying out all that money to make 80 cents? That's just stupid. I know his point, but that's what day trading is. But now, as I'm trying to explain to Big Al, as we call him, now you trade in the money, daily options on the Qs. So when you see these cute little moments where they try to sell the market off and we're not going down because we're in a bull market from hell that's never going to end, ever! Woo! Woo! Right? You look to buy that dip with that daily option, and here's what you want to do. You want to trade them at the money. So here, the 529s. Look how beautiful. Now, doesn't that chart look exactly like the QQQ chart? You're right, because it is. Because the at-the-money option is going to trade like the stock. So instead of laying out 500 grand to make that 80 cents, here's your faux, here's your show, and you start buying it as it's broing. You're in this thing at 212, but let's say you waited. I want that confirmation. Kenny, you told me to wait for the VWAP break. Okay, cool. You're in at 240. And the option goes to $4. So instead of laying out 500 grand to make $1, here you laid out 2,400 to make yourself basically $1.80. Much better. And that is why this is our number one trade. And let me show you a trade that I was on the wrong side of, and I got faux show broed myself because it's a tough trade. I got faux show broed. How would I let that happen? Because at the time, it seems like you're doing the right thing. But here's where you have to this is where it separates the good trader or the bad trader from the good trader to the superb. Revisit the trade. Understanding what you did wrong, what happened. Maybe you didn't do something wrong. Maybe it was just the trade, like this situation right here, right? And by the way, KNW, we still got this thing looking for $3.04. It's just, whatever, it moved a little bit. I don't know. I sold some. I'm not letting it go back below 250 if anybody's interested. But let me show you this NBIS, right? By the way, we still own NVTS. That's our another one. And if anybody wants to buy that right now, whatever price you buy it at, I'm a fan. Stock's going to $11. maybe today, hopefully today. And I've been accumulating it. Again, I don't want to talk my book, but the stock has 4 faux show bros all in one day. And every time it resolves itself to the upside. You don't think the stock's going higher? They've been trying to sell it off for 2 weeks. And every time it's resolved itself higher. Big news, they sold it off, comes back in a big way. Sold off that monstrous move, held support, came back in a big way. Consolidation inside that candle, bang, new highs. Boom, 2-year highs, ripping. New highs, pre-market highs. New high, pre-market highs. There's nowhere for this stock to go but $11 now. Here's your 5-year chart. Where do you think the stock's going? You see the biggest ass crack you ever seen in your life right there, right? Bang, stock's going $11 right there. There's the print. Sorry, it's not 11. It's I thought it was $11.16, something like that. Yeah, $11.17 to the penny. It's going to hit $11.17, and when it gets there, it's going to sell off. It's going to pull back to 10. It's going to sit around for 2 weeks, and then it's going to break $11.17, and it's going to rip right to $12.35, and then right there is the real resistance around $13.50. So got options in it, sold puts, got call spreads on it, everything you could possibly have on NVTS, I'm in it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Anyway, so let's talk about what was I just talking about? See, I don't want to see. I got distracted now. I got distracted talking about NVTS because I saw it going by hitting new highs. What the hell was I just talking about? What was I just talking about? Power gapping, right? Oh, NBIS. Come on, people. Where are you? Right? And by the way, I tend to focus on the negative trades. I love that about myself. That's how I learn. Just to show you that I'm not all about, oh, my trade's working. Oh, good I am. Nah. I harp on the negative. Some people hate that about me. I think it makes me a better trader. I think it helps more people. Because let me show you what happened to me. I got faux show broed. And that's what makes it such a sick trade. And by the way, this is NBIS. And look how it got to my... That was the trade that I thought I was going to do. And I wound up losing on this trade. So here you go. By the way, KNAW, new highs. So here we go. NBIS. Anybody know what they do? Doesn't matter. Exactly. Good point. I saw it faux showing. Breaks a new low. Starts to come back. Breaks the VWAP. Rips. Damn. I missed it. Right? So then it comes back, breaks the VWAP, starts to come back, right? And then it dips again. And right here, I'm thinking, all right, here come the old dip and rip, broke down, rallied, came back down, didn't break a new low, starts to rally. I'm a buyer right here. Little preemptive strike, and it rolled. It didn't break back over the VWAP like I hoped. And then it broke down. And then it broke a new low, so I had to sell. And then it broke the low of the day, so I had to sell the rest. And then look what happened. Fake out, shakeout. And here's where I was like, oh, I should be buying the stock back. And then I saw it rolling over. I was like, I'll let this one go. And lo and behold, that's me. I'm pretty much printing the new low of the day, and that's why the faux show bro is so important, because the long, like I got out terrible, bad price. I got stopped out here and here, rallies without me. But remember, the shorter morons that they are, right? Disturbed lunatic schmucks. Nobody should be shorting. They shorted the stock right there, thinking, oh, new low break. I'm going to short this stock. That's why the faux show bro works so well. Because you get long traders like me who are all pissed off and they're like, oh my God, it's leaving without me. The fear of missing out kicks in. The better you are at an understanding, it's not the fear of missing out. You got faux showed. Now get back in, because don't miss the bro. So the short guy who just got short, he's like, oh no, they got it covered. The long who just got out, they want back in. So now you got twice as much as buying, and it chops around and chops around. And look what that candle right there. That was the move I was anticipating over here. Because inevitably, when the shorts are on the wrong side and the longs went back in, you get a bang, you get an explosion, to the upside, and it travels back to prior day VWAP. And there's the trade that I was counting on, and that's a $2,000 loss now. And I wound up losing, $320 on this trade where it should have been a $2,000 profit. And normally I'd be, punching bricks right now and cursing at my kid or yelling at my wife about something or blaming somebody for my mistakes. By the way, every good trader needs a scapegoat. So let's go back to NVTS and why am I so bullish? Let me explain to you why I'm so bullish. Because the stock's telling me to be bullish. Right? Don't take my word for it. Right? The stock has let me down 3 times already in its history. I was in this IPO. One of the only chip stocks, one of the only semiconductor stocks ever that I didn't make money on. Got slammed in this name 2 different times. Gave it up, left it for dead. And the next thing you know, its long lost uncle comes around and says, hey, come on, nephew, I'm going to take you for a ride. And you know who's his long lost uncle? NVIDIA. NVIDIA said, yeah, you know what? We're kind of digging what you're doing. And if NVIDIA's digging what they're doing, not only does that justify the company just to own the stock, right? It also implies that there's something there. Because NVIDIA is, as they say, flush with cash. Do I have to wink at the camera? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink? It's a takeover rumor. That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? So NVIDIA is telling you that this stock has got something that they're interested in. And the charts over the last month are also telling you that they're trying to sell it off and it's not going down. They're trying to sell it off and it's not going down. You know what that means? They're trying to sell it off and it's not going down. You understand? That's how this market works. That's the same reason we're buying. That's the same reason that we're in ASTS right now. Why? Because for the last year, right, they've been trying to sell this stock off. You guys know ASTS? Well, you should. Penny stock, pump and dump bullshit brought to us by the lovely and talented Vaz at $5. She's pitching this stock to me one night. I'm like, what is this bullshit? I ain't buying this crap. Some pump and dump space. She's like, no, this one's legit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Next thing you know, it goes to 40. Whoa. Right? But then the price action over the last year, if you've owned this stock, let's say you finally got in and you top ticked it at $35, you've been sitting here suffering for basically a year. Right? But if you know about the stock, on the way down, it was being bought. All these spikes. Even though it was in this downtrend, it was being accumulated. And look where it went to. It went to prior real support, which is also the 2-year VWAP. To the penny, people. To the penny. Right? Holds it. Rallies. Doesn't get to that breakout area. Comes back down. Now we got the Trump catastrophe tariffs bullshit. Where does it go back to? Coincidentally, the 2-year VWAP. Because the market's rigged to VWAP. It's not about tariffs or who the president is or inflation or stagflation or whatever you think it is. It's not. So now, one more consolidation, one more attempt, one more faux show. Bro, another faux show, and now we're broing. Right? So now that we're broing, what are they going to do? They're not going to make it easy on you, so what do? They faux show bro it all day. Every sell-off, what's happened? Come back. And then the deeper the sell-off, the bigger to the move to the upside. You know what that is? Bullish! We're never going down! Ever! Every sell-off is met with an equal and greater move to the upside. You know what that is? That's a bull market from hell. And we're still in a power gap. So please, somebody from Villanova, call me with your thesis about how this market is going to go down. Tell me about the recession that's coming, that they were supposed to be dead. We were all supposed to be dead. We were running out of diesel. Wheat was being burned. We were running out of food. We were running out of diesel. And there was a recession that was going to come and kill us. 5 years ago. Still waiting. We're never going down, people. Power fucking gap. Power gap. Don't forget it. So now as everybody's debating, oh, what about the rug pull? Oh, everybody seems to be... No. 40% of people are bullish right now. This is the wall of worry at its best. They're trying to create reasons for us to be worried now. They can't think of anything. That's how bullish this... They can't even think of anything. There's nothing left. The only thing left is if we have nuclear weapons go off, that'll probably spook the market for 3 days, 7 days tops. So right now, this is the greatest time to be a trader, swing trader, investor. Everything is working, my friends. And if you want us to see this in action, this is what we do, me and my crew. And I would love for you guys to come to my website if you haven't come yet. It's called hitthebid.com, powered by Stock Market Media and all my friends over there with JC and his crew. I'm good. But I want to introduce you to somebody that has taken what I showed him and has taken this algorithmic language of VWAP and has made it into an algorithm. And his name is Solid Jello. You could call him Solid. You could call him Jello. And if you use any other bad words, I'll come for you. To see what he's built, to see this in action, he's not only giving us the ins, but he's got it where it's projecting the outs. It's projecting where the thing should go to. It's also telling you where to get in and if you're wrong, where to get out. And I heard there's really not much more to know about trading. Why are we buying it? Where do we think it's going? And what are we going to do when we're wrong? And he's built it and he's got it working. And it's fantastic. And I want to, again, the more people I talk to, I want to show you, look, I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it for 30 years. To see somebody take what I showed him 12 years ago and what he's created is just absolutely, it's just an inspiration, not just to me. It's an inspiration to all of you. Everybody can do this. This trade replicates on a daily basis. It replicates on weekly, monthly, yearly. Fake out, shake out, breakout. Faux show, bro. Get a tattoo on your forehead. Because this market is so damn bullish right now. That's why every day there's another faux show, bro. So go back to that NBIS trade, the one I got faux show broed on. Now again, I'm using it as a negative right here because I was in it long. So the idea is that, again, I chose not to buy it back because I had something else to do. I was walking away from the desk anyway. I had some things to do. Anyway, I had my reasons for not buying it back. Should have bought it back, especially when it broke over the VWAP and broke the range I was looking for earlier. And I would have made all my money back. But that's why this trade is so important. So the idea is, what I want you to do, if this is the first time you're meeting me, hi, Stock Twits and YouTube. It works on any stock. You ready? I'll just show you a couple other ones that we traded today. You know NVTS, you know NBIS, you know the QQQs. Let's take even the dirtiest, doggiest, dumbest stock you could think of, which is KWM, the other one we traded today. Right? What is it? Who knows? I think the name of the company is K-Wave Media. You know what they do? Right? They're out of Grand Cayman, and there's a Chinese CEO. So what do you think they do? Right. Nothing. The company doesn't exist. That's why, again, I'm a bear. Most stocks don't even exist. How do I find my stocks? Volume. So I have a scanner each morning. I look for the stocks with the most volume, and I go with the stocks that are in the news because those stocks will have the most volume. That's why I love earnings season. Great question. So I'm always looking at, that's why these stocks like KMW and KNW, like for instance, ARAI we were all on this one because when you have huge volume, or as they call it in the industry, unusual volume lends to better VWAP trades because the more volume, the less manipulation in the stock. The more volume, the more liquidity, the less chance of getting stopped out at a terrible price. So our focus list is always stocks in the news, and that's why earnings season is phenomenal. And that's why I go back to stocks that have reported earnings, and I'll show you another one of my trades. But before I go any further, this stock ARAI, right? Never heard of it before today. Monster move, right? This thing was $5 yesterday, ripping all day today, right? What are you seeing? Faux show? Faux show. So stock breaks below the VWAP. The orange line here, and if you do join our website, we give you this orange line. That's our special magic sauce. That's prior day VWAP. We call it the multi-day. When you fake out and you shake out, and that the shakeout part's still above prior day VWAP, that's your dinner bell. Ding, ding. You want to ring the bell? Ding, ding. You better know that movie. So when you see these moves, it's qualifying, it's giving you a new reason to buy. So if you missed it here and you missed it here, oh, look, it's dipping under VWAP and now it's coming back. You're buying it as it breaks back above that level. And now when people see these stocks, they're like, oh, I don't want to buy it here at $7. It was just $6. You're not letting it go back to 6 with you still in it, right? You're going to use that prior day VWAP as your out. So instead, if you're buying here at $7.90, you're risking 30 cents. A lot of people look at the chart and they think that's their risk where the stock was. You're not going to let a stock roll over and go back to the lows of the day with you still in it, right? So wait, let me show you some other ones. There was, so ARA, there was, what was the other one that was going nuts before? No, with the K stocks we did, yeah, that's IoT. Okay, so IoT, never heard of it. I don't know who this Merle fella is. I don't know what he does. I don't like it. But somebody pointed this out to me and they said, hey, is this a faux show, bro? And I'm like, it's about to. So you see how it sold off, broke a new low, came right back and rallied, but then it did it again. It's subtle, right? So let's say you bought it here and you're placing stops at pivot points. Let's say that one, and you see how it broke it just for a second, then it came back? That's a faux show moment because people will put stops at the bottoms of these candlesticks. Breaks the bottom of that candle, comes right back, then it breaks the VWAP. So faux show, VWAP, buy it. So faux show, you're a buyer here, $40.40, and then the target usually is the orange line. In this case, we missed it by 20 cents, but great trade. And now, buy it. Why? Because it just faux showed, right? So here it is. It's doing it right now. By the way, ASTS new highs, people. ASTS new highs, people. ASTS new highs, people. If this stock's over 39.08, I want everybody who can hear my voice buying it. Let me go back to this trade. And by the way, if you're in IoT, loving it right there. You see how it broke the VWAP, broke a little new low, came back. This is the VWAP shuffle, and now you're resolving back to the upside. Not a bad entry so far for you new guys that were looking to buy this thing on the dip. You got the dip and the faux in the show, so I'm wishing you luck. I know you guys were trading this one. But I want to show you ASTS, all right? Faux show, bro, faux show, bro, faux show, bro, and we're broing right now. Now, the reason I said $39, this has been a 1 year consolidation, kids. 1 year consolidation. You think the stock's going to break 39.08 and not go to at least $50? You thought Omar was a stoolie because Sosa said so? You bought that line. Sorry, I have movie Tourette's. So I don't care what you're doing, right? I don't care where you are, and I don't like people who trade on their phones. I think that's irresponsible. But if you happen to be driving your car, and maybe you got your girlfriend or your wife or your boyfriend driving, and you just happen to be scrolling, and you see ASTS printing above 39.08, you buy it. because this is a year-long consolidation, and they've been trying for a year to get people out of this thing, and it's still going to resolve itself and break new highs. Woo! Let's go. And I want to show you how you can play it in a very non-expensive way. So if you're loving it, which I am, I buy at the money, so I'm in these already. I got a 30. Hey, check this out. Sorry, not this week. It's for Friday. So if it doesn't work, it's going to be probably a. This is why I want to show you this trade. I'm in the 36s. Sorry, no, I'm in the 35s. Right? 35s. So here's the day. $35 calls. Got them at $1. Where am I? No, sorry, $1.20. Got them at $1.20. So I got a $35 call for this Friday. That's a couple of days for $1.20. Want to see something cool? Look at these prices. Just to see it on the big scale. 35s. And by the way, if you want to buy them, yeah, I'll buy another one. 175. You go on the bid, buy them at 175. So, son, if you're listening, $35 call, 175. So now, for 175, you're in, right? So now your corporate average is what? 36.75. Now, I didn't sell 554 contracts, but you could sell $43 calls. Well, I got them for 15 cents, just to offset. Now, would anybody be upset the stock went to 43 on Friday? No. What I do is I use the 43s as bait. Now, this is the part I don't suggest to anybody unless you're an active trader. Let's say I got 10 contracts of the 35s. I'll sell 20 contracts of the 43s because I want to take in at least something reasonable. So I'm naked, the 43s, kind of using them as bait because let me have that problem. Because if the stock breaks $39, I'm going to wind up buying some more $40 calls. So I'm in a 35, just got them for 175 in, right? 35, 43s. You could probably get, wow, you could actually get maybe, actually the 43.50s is probably better. If you want to take, get an extra half a point for just 4 cents, actually that is better. Maybe I'll do that instead. But I'm in the 35, 43 call spread, and let me just warn you, call spreads stink. But in this case, I got to be involved. This is one of those trades where it's a limited risk trade. If it rips into the 40s, I'm in. If I'm out $1, $1.20 on the trade. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong. And my friends, if I'm wrong this week, and I'm telling you, this is what they do. Let's say the stock kind of goes mute for the next couple of days and this call spread expires worthless. Wait till you see what happens on Monday. Because a lot of times if a stock's about to break out and you don't get the break, you get a Monday gap and a go. So like I said, if you see this stock above 39.08, stop what you're doing because you're about to ruin. No, 39.08, that's an all-time high on the stock. And I'll be looking at this thing in the 50s, I'm assuming, once it breaks that 39.08, and that's what I'm hoping. And we'll see when we get there. So big fan. It's hard for me to find something not to be bullish on right now. It's pretty incredible. I'll show you a couple of names that I'm digging. If you don't like this one, I don't know what to tell you. USAR, come on. The name of the company is enough to want to buy the stock. We're having a feud with China. You heard about that, right? Yeah. China has all the rare earths, right? And that's what makes us nervous. You should be, considering they make all our drugs and they control all the chemicals and rare earths that we need for all of our products. Yeah. USA! Rare Earth. Incorporated.com, Mr. Jones. Buy all you can. Keep an eye on this stock. The market we're in right now, it's stocks with awesome names like that rip. And we've been trading this thing since this little break. $10, it's up 30%. But look at the volatility in this name, and then look at that. big fat whole numbers where it blasted off once before. Let me show you a 5-year chart. Thing was a SPAC, came out, rips the 20, goes to 5, right smack dab in the middle. In this market, you don't think this thing's going to go looking for his old friend back there at 20? And if it breaks 20, put this one on your list, kids. So, you know, again, I don't usually come off as this bullish, but I see zero reasons to be bearish until everybody's bullish. And that is what we call my uncle indicator. What is my uncle indicator? My uncle is complete opposite of my father. My uncle, let's call it like it is. My uncle's a moron. He's a nervous guy. He's the kind of guy that warns you when you're eating something. You know that's going to kill you. As you're about to take a bite, he's that guy. You drink soda from a can, you know, the soda eats away at the inner linings, and that's going into your gut, and you're going to get cancer. Thanks. He's that guy. But he's also the guy that in 1987 bought stocks and the market crashed. And he said, I'm never buying stocks ever again. The market's rigged. Nobody ever makes money. And my dad's like, market never goes down. I buy the dip. I've been in the market since 1963. I'm having the best time. My uncle buys 87. My uncle gets crushed. My dad's buying. Suddenly I become a stockbroker. Who's calling me circa 2000? Asking me if I know about a company called Cisco. Hey, who? Uncle Mark? You want to buy Cisco? It's at $82 a share. The stock was $8 about 6 months ago. I don't think you should buy it. It's up 1,000%. Oh, you're hearing good things? Oh, yeah? Okay, cool. All right, I'll buy you 200 shares. Bought him 200 shares at $80. Plummets with 3 days later down to 50, and then it goes to 20, and he hates the market. Meanwhile, my dad buys more on the way down, became his best position of his life, buying Cisco for 25 years, my father. My uncle, after that trade, said, all right, I'm just never going to buy stocks again. So when does he buy stocks? You guessed it. The phone's ringing. 2008. Oh, telecommunication stocks. Is that what you're into now? Oh, because of Lucent? Oh, is that right? I thought you weren't buying stocks anymore. Oh, yeah, I'll put the trade in for you. Sure. Okay. He ended capitalism. So when now that he's out of the market, he's been out of the market since the financial crisis, right? Any day now is when he calls, because he's the kind of guy that there's some magic moment where he finally will feel comfortable buying. That's 100% sentiment. When guys like my uncle come crawling back who need to put some money to work after missing out over the last 13-year bull market, now he's got to get in. That's where you should be, getting a little nervous. But right now, my friends, I just spent 53 minutes with you just talking about why to be bullish. I am not bullshitting you. I'm a bear. I was born into bearishness as a stockbroker. I worked at boiler rooms and pump and dump firms, and I was emotionally scarred from what I saw. And then I became a market maker, an options principal, and then day trading became a thing, and it changed my life. And I still blew up 3 individual times. And I'm talking about blow ups that most people wouldn't be able to come back from. And you know what was all on? Shorting. I've never blown up an account long stocks. They can only go to 0. I've blown up accounts shorting, because shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. So now that I know that, and I finally have accepted that, my fate, that's why I'm the ex-president of the Bear Foundation of America, traveling secretary right now. I still dip my toe in with the parties. But it's just not a viable way to trade. And if you just stay bullishly biased, and this is where I'm gonna leave you with this notion. Stay bullishly biased, right? Man, this guy is fucking out of his mind. He says the market never goes down. It pretty much crashed 2 months ago. You're right. Yeah. Okay. And that's over with now. So the situation I want to leave you on is stay bullishly biased, allow the VWAP into your life, and take this moment to share with me right now. I want you to look deep into my eyes if you can see me. We're going to change the way you look at the market right now together in this moment. Breathe in the VWAP. And breathe out the doubt. Breathe in the VWAP. Hold it. And breathe out the Goldman Sachs. Breathe in the VWAP. And breathe out the fear. When you have VWAP in your life, you can be as jaded and cynical, bullish or bearish as you want. Allow the VWAP to confirm your belief. So I could be talking a whole bunch of shit right here, right? And some people say, man, this guy talks a lot of shit. And then the next day, everything I talked about, oh my God, that guy that was saying these things, wow, it just happened just the way he said it would. Yes. 30 years I've been doing this, sitting at screens. That's why I have no hair. And I'm borderline psychotic. Borderline? Let the VWAP confirm your bias. And right now the bias is we are never going down ever again. There will be a down day, but until we start violating that last power gap, it's very difficult for this market to get anything going on the downside. So I'm going to leave you with that. Stay bullishly biased and let the VWAP confirm your bias each and every day. And if you need somebody in your corner, my name is Kenny Glick. My pal's name is Solid. You could call him Solid Jello. You could call him Jello. Just call him Solid. To see me in action is something to behold. I'm pretty good. But to see it in all of its algorithmic glory, when these stock prices go to and fro very specifically to certain prices based on algorithms, to see it there, you will accept it as your religion. And that's what VWAP is to us. It's a religion. And as I'm always consistently saying, don't take my word for it. See it for yourself. So at my website, we give everybody 2 weeks. 2 weeks for free. You join up. You get to kick the tires, drive it around, eat our food, drink our drink, lay with our ladies. Maybe not that part. But you get to experience everything there is that we do for nothing, for 2 weeks. And if you're not thoroughly impressed, there's something wrong with you. What? No, seriously. If you're not impressed how we do our thing, because it's the same thing every day. Faux show bros, VWAP breaks. There's a couple other trades, the blow off top, the rollovers, the dips and the rips. All based on VWAP, all algorithmic trading, all very specific and very, very easy to learn. And one more awesome part about it is every trade you put on, you'll know why you're buying it and exactly what you're risking and how much you should expect to make on the trade. And there is zero left that you need to know about trading. And VWAP gives it all to you on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and dare I use the word lifetime basis. All right, my friends, it's been nice hanging out with you. I am out of here, and may all of our stocks continue to rip. I'm loving the ASTS. I'm not joking around. I'm not the best investor. And by the way, I love this company, SRAD. The stock's been the same price since the last I spoke to you guys. But this market is too awesome not to participate with some swings and some owning some of these names. And if they all roll over and they got sold off, like I said, there's very specific levels. We go over them every day. When we're wrong, we just accept we're wrong. It's okay to be wrong, my friends. You just don't stay wrong. Thank you. My name is Kenny Glick. I'll see you next week. Thanks for having me.